At this time, we're going to read Gilbert Law Summaries, Legal Research, Writing, and Analysis, edition 11, starting on page 105, which is chapter 10, Searching Through Legal Sources, the Introduction and Methodology. Part A, Introduction. Number 1, Source books. Have you ever wondered how an index is written? Probably not. However, a good indexer, one with organization, imagination, and insight, can make the difference between an inadequate index and one that successfully foresees how people will be using it and the keywords they will be considering. All legal source books have indexes. They also have table of contents. Some include a table of cases, but it is the index that at the end determines whether you will be efficient in finding the appropriate material. This chapter will describe ways of searching through legal source books, whether codes, treatises, encyclopedias, digests, loose leaf materials, or indexes to legal periodicals. We will begin with a search through an index and follow up with an examination of tables of contents and tables of cases. Number 2, online sources. Online legal sources like LexisNexis and Westlaw or Westlaw Next do not use indexes. Rather, they contain databases which you can easily search by typing words in the source's search function. LexisNexis or Westlaw will then display the results of the keyword search for you. Part B, Methodology. Choosing keywords for your index or online search. Letter A, Sample Problem. Robin is a long-distance runner. While she is meditatively running through Michael's fields, Michael's family and lovable dog, Drifter, rushes up to greet her. Robin's strength is broken. In her surprise, she trips over a rock and breaks her leg. Robin has to pay $1,500 for medical treatment. Can she collect this amount from Michael? In considering this problem or any problem, you need to find the words or terms will lead you to the proper contextual material of the source book you are using to help you do this. You may wish to use the following chart. Note that the topics to the left of the chart need not be the only ones. If you think of another listing that can help you locate material, by all means use it. So number 1 is people. What kinds of people are involved? Do they fit into a larger named group, like infants, nutritionists, debtors, or tenants? And subject matter. Well, for this particular example, just to kind of advance, the general words they used for people was athletes, property owners, and trespassers, and specific was runner-jogger. So part 2 is subject matter, part 3 is legal theory, and part 4 is remedy sought. So under subject matter, what things and places are involved? What groups do these things or places fall into? For example, automobile, vehicles, apartment, housing, redwood tree, forest. And for subject matter, they choose sports, property, animal, injury. So for specific, land, field, pet dog, physical injury. Legal theory. What kind of legal action is it, and or what kind of legal defense can be raised? Filling in this box may be difficult at first, and you may have to know some law to find an appropriate term. But commonly known terms like breach of contract, negligence, misdemeanor, nuisance, or libel may often be enough to start. In this example, the legal theory we wrote was negligence, tort, and trespassing. Specific, dog bite, natural hazard. And fourth is the remedy sought. What does the person bringing the lawsuit want? A wage attachment, an eviction, a divorce, a name change, money damages for an injury, an injunction to halt a nuisance. As in the legal theory topic, you may have some difficulty filling in appropriate words, but you need not worry. Usually the people and subject topics will provide you a sufficient number of keywords to get you started. Your research will uncover additional words and perhaps even some legal terms. So, the remedy sought was damages for injuries, and specific is medical expenses. And there's a blank table here on page 106 that looks useful to take, to copy for one's own research memo. Okay, so B, letter B under 2, the methodology, is titled Some Pointers When Using an Index or Conducting an Online Search. 1 through 6. 1. You probably will need all the words you enter into your chart. Some words are obviously better than others, but the more words you think of, the more likely it is that you will hit upon those that are best suited to lead you to the contextual material. 2. Look up both general and specific terms in the index. General terms in indexes will often be followed with specific subheadings that can help you pinpoint your sources. Similarly, to conduct an online search, use both general and specific terms in various combinations, and note whether the online search requires you use specific search terms and connectors or supports plain English searches. 3. Always check out several of your words. Do not stop with the first one just because it leads you somewhere. Appropriate textual material, cases, and statutes can often be indexed in several places, and the first section you find, although helpful, may not be all there is. It may even mislead you. When you find that the words you are looking up are cross-referencing each other and or overlapping on references to the material in the text, you know your search through the index has been thorough. 5. If you are having trouble thinking of words and synonyms for your chart, try using a dictionary or a thesaurus. The dictionary need not be a law dictionary since many of the words are non-legal. Our online systems like LexisNexis and Westlaw may suggest similar terms when you search. And 6. Always check through supplementary indexes, those which are those separate pamphlets or inserts in the back of main text, to be certain that you have located the most recent material. 2. Using a table of contents. If you're familiar with the subject, you may decide to approach the material through the table of contents. Turn to the broad topic in the table and scan the subtopics to find your area of interest. The problem with using the table of contents is that you may overlook other important, related, and developing areas not arranged under the topic. For example, the right to refuse a measles vaccination for your child may be discussed in both the health and safety and the constitutional law sections of the text. Even someone familiar with the area may forget to check one section or the other. A detailed index with its many cross-references reduces the chances of this happening. 3. Using a table of cases. Many legal sourcebooks have tables and cases. If you know of a case dealing with the subject matter in which you are interested, you can look it up in the table and be directed to that section of the text that mentions the case. If you only know the defendant's name, you can use the defendant-plaintiff tables and often accompany the tables of cases. Finding a section does not guarantee that you will be helped. Cases are often cited for several distinct points of law. The table may refer you to a section covering a point other than yours, and where you are directed to an appropriate section of text, you may be missing other sections that have nothing to do with the case but are equally or more important. So when using a table of cases, take a few minutes to check the index as well You may be surprised at all of the additional references it will provide you. And for possible next steps for research. Your next steps in researching will depend on how much you know about your topic. If you know very little about your topic, you may want to jumpstart your research by first consulting a secondary source, see example 5, such as a legal encyclopedia, treatise, or law review article to get a general overview of the topic. You can do this either online or by using the books. Many secondary sources are now available online. If you do not find any secondary sources on your topic, you may then have to turn to the statute and case indexes to help you find relevant authorities.